The Curious Case of Benjamin Button by F. Scott Fitzgerald. Chapter 1. Our story starts in the summer of 1860 in the busy city of Baltimore. At that time, babies were usually born at home, not in hospitals. But young Mr. and Mrs. Roger Button had different ideas. They wanted their first baby to arrive in a hospital. Was this one of the reasons for the astonishing history that I'm going to tell you? I shall tell you what occurred. Then you can decide. The Roger Buttons held an enviable position, both social and financial. They knew every good family in town, and everyone knew them. This was their first baby, so Mr. Button was naturally nervous. He was hoping for a boy, so he could send him to Yale College in Connecticut. Mr. Roger Button was a student at Yale when he was a young man. Of course, he wanted his son to follow him there. The great day arrived. Mr. Button hurried to the hospital one morning in September for news of his wife and baby. When he was close to the Maryland Private Hospital, he saw the family doctor descending the front steps, rubbing his hands together. He ran toward the doctor with much less dignity than was expected from a Southern gentleman. "Dr. Keene," he called. "Oh, Dr. Keene." The doctor heard him and turned around. He saw Mr. Button, and a curious look came over his face. "What happened?" asked Mr. Button. "How was it? How is she? A boy?" "Talk sense," said the doctor a little angrily. "Is the child born?" asked Mr. Button. Dr. Keene didn't answer immediately. "Yes," he said slowly. "A strange birth." "Is my wife all right?" "Yes." "Is it a boy or a girl?" "Go and see," replied Dr. Keene. He still seemed strangely angry. "Terrible. What's the matter? Is there a problem with the baby?" asked Mr. Button. "Go and see them," Dr. Keene frowned. "And then get yourself another doctor. I brought you into the world, young man, and I've looked after your family for 40 years. But I'm through with you. I don't want to see you or any of your relatives ever again. Goodbye." And without another word, he turned and walked away. Mr. Button stood there on the sidewalk, stupefied and trembling from head to foot. What horrible mishap had occurred, he thought. Now he didn't want to go into the hospital, but he walked slowly up the steps and through the entrance door. A nurse was sitting behind the desk. "Good morning," she said, smiling. "Good morning. I am Mr. Roger Button." A look of fear came over the girl's face. She stood up, clearly planning to run away. Then she calmed herself and sat down again. "I want to see my child," said Mr. Button. "Oh, of course," she cried hysterically. "Upstairs, upstairs. Go up." She pointed to the stairs, and Mr. Button turned falteringly and began to mount to the second floor. He went upstairs and found another nurse. There was a large metal bowl in her hands. "I'm Mr. Button," he began. "I want to see my clank." The nurse dropped the bowl. The bowl rolled in the direction of the stairs. Clank, clank, it fell down the stairs. "I want to see my child," Mr. Button shouted. "All right, Mr. Button," she agreed in a hushed voice. "All right. But if you knew what a state it's put us all in this morning, nobody will want to use the hospital again after this." "Hurry," Mr. Button cried hoarsely. "I can't wait any longer." "Come this way then, Mr. Button." Mr. Button followed the nurse. There was a sound of babies crying. They stopped by a room. The nurse pushed the door open, and they went in. Around the walls were white cribs, each one with a name tied to the top. "Well," gasped Mr. Button, "which is mine?" "There," said the nurse. Mr. Button's eyes followed the nurse's pointing finger, and this is what he saw. An old man of about 70 years old sat in one of the cribs. His sparse hair was almost white, and he had a long, grey beard. His feet hung over one end of the crib, and his head and arms hung over the other. He looked up at Mr. Button with dim eyes in which lurked a question. "Am I mad?" thundered Mr. Button. "Is this some ghastly joke?" "It doesn't seem like a joke to us," said the nurse angrily, "and I don't know if you're crazy or not, but there's no mistake. That is your child." The old man looked placidly at the nurse, and then at Mr. Button, and then suddenly spoke in an ancient voice. "Are you my father?" he asked. "Because if you are," went on the old man curiously, "please get me out of this place. It's very uncomfortable." "Where did you come from? Who are you?" screamed Mr. Button. "I can't say exactly who I am," the old man replied. "I was only born a few hours ago, but I know my last name is Button." "You are lying. You are an impostor." The old man turned wearily to the nurse. "That's a nice way to welcome a newborn baby," he said. "Please tell him he's wrong." "You're wrong, Mr. Button," said the nurse coldly. "This is your child, and you have to take care of him. We want you to take him home as soon as possible." "Home?" repeated Mr. Button incredulously. "Take him home?" "Yes, we can't have him here." "I'll be glad to get home," whined the old man. "I can't sleep because of all the crying in here, and I asked for something to eat, and they brought me a bottle of milk." Mr. Button sat on a seat next to his son and concealed his face in his hands. "What will people say? What must I do?" he said to himself quietly. "You'll have to take him home," insisted the nurse. "Immediately." Mr. Button suddenly imagined himself walking through the town with the old man at his side. What could he say to people? "This is my son, born early this morning." He thought of those people looking in surprise at the old man next to him. The nurse was watching him impatiently. "Come, pull yourself together," said the nurse. "See here," the old man announced suddenly. "If you think I'm going to walk home in this blanket, you're entirely mistaken." "Babies always have blankets," replied the nurse. "Well, this baby is not going to wear this blanket any longer. This blanket itches. In a few minutes I'm going to take it off." Keep it on," said Mr. Button hurriedly. He turned to the nurse. "What shall I do?" "Go downtown and buy your son some clothes," the nurse told him.